Also, speaking of movers and shakers in the election, a second Senate Democratic primary poll has graced the timelines. This time, it is firmly after the tattoo saga, because the previous one that came out where Graham Platner was popping off was before the tattoo saga. Mainers have come out and stated their desire. They want the totem cough. They want the Blackwater mercenary. This is what they're going with. Okay. They said, nope, this is great. Main conf. I don't know. Listen, after hearing Platner's statements defending his past remarks, 45% said it made them more likely to support him. We here in the Mills Mafia are in the gutter. Okay. As a prominent janitsary, okay, janitsaries rise up. Times are tough. We thought her charisma and her age, which equals experience, would have somehow, and of course being prominently placed in this position by the sexual panther himself, Chuck Schumer, we thought that she would be killing it. It turns out it's not happening. Although we are Mills-pilled here, it turns out that the survey finds the scandal helping Platner rather than hurting him, not because people love Nazi tats, but because people want a culture that brings back grace, forgiveness, and growth and smashes this hall monitor and makes the Dems toxic. What should happen in an early primary poll is that the sitting governor should be at 60 to 70%, and the upstart challenger, who was a no-name 3 months ago, should be hyping at cracking 20% if lucky. Instead, Mills is at 25% and chasing the upstart. By the way, that's a poll from the Republicans, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is an NRSC poll. This is you right now, Mills Mafia down. Oh, never been worse for Mills Mafia. It says a lot about the organic excitement for Platner, about Mills waiting too long and like a wet blanket, and absolutely raising some fatal concerns about her viability as a serious contender. If people are this unenthused about her now, what do you expect in the general? Which is incredible because her entire pitch is about electability and needing to convince pundit brain liberal partisans that she's a guaranteed winner. I cannot explain to you how bad the establishment Democrat brand is in the eyes of the broader base of support. Wait, what? Janet Mills now has a inquiry? Dem governors buried investigation docs hit with official inquiry as questions swirl over Senate run. The NRSC has appealed the denial of 3,000 pages of documents the Democratic governor herself once sought but never released. Oh my God, I'm more in the Mills Mafia than I was before. Yesterday I was Mills. Today, I'm still riding with Mills. I'm Mills-pilled. More than 3 decades after Maine's Democratic Governor Janet Mills avoided releasing approximately 6,000 pages of case files pertaining to the federal investigation into her alleged use. Hey, yo! What? Can a white girl get wild sometimes? Are you serious? Yo! Pills for Mills, baby! We're back! That's crazy. The NRSC submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, in April 2025, attempting to release the files relating to her suspected use trial amid suspicion that Democrats were recruiting her to jump into the state Senate race. I don't want to be out here giving free ball away for the Republicans, but they probably shouldn't be attacking Mills if they want to solidify Susan Collins. Because from what I understand, the Maine seat has been contested by people exactly like Janet Mills time and time again. And Susan Collins has dominated time and time again. Okay. So it's very clear that the Mainer Democrats and the Mainer Independents are, they were looking for something different. And it turns out that something different was real different. Okay. That something different was the progressive mind in a MAGA body, if you will. As Felix likes to call it, we are in the age of stupids. Okay. It turns out maybe we needed our own version of stupids, our own army of stupids, and we must champion our stupids. We must breed them. We must let them flourish. Let 1,000 stupids bloom. Okay? I love my woke chud. I love my woke chud candidates. Oh, it's awesome. I know K-File also hit the same thing that our chatters had found before. New evidence undercuts Senate candidate Platner's claims that he didn't know tattoo was Nazi link. But do I think the Mainers are gonna give a about this? No. No, I do not. From what I've seen, they do not care. They like him more, as a matter of fact. But like I said, listen. I don't think this is a bad thing. Okay? I don't think it's a bad thing. I know you guys have gotten very mad at me over my commentary on this issue. Okay? I know. You think despite the fact that I have lent my support to the Pills Mill, okay? Pills Mills, Janet Sari, rise up. I'm Mills pilled for the pills that Mills is consuming, okay? Liberal voters, broadly, looking at a dude who came out of the gay swing and saying, Israel, free Palestine, I want Medicare for all, and saying, that's a more electable guy than anybody else we have actually tried so far, is a good thing. Okay? That's a good thing. I promise you that's a good thing, because that means potentially candidates that don't have the Nazi tattoo are probably going to do even better. They are going to be broadly recognized as solid candidates. Now we'll see, because there are two tests here. Okay? This is a very important one. This is a very important one because if Graham Platner succeeds in spite of everything else in a purple area, in a red seat, overthrowing a staple Republican candidate, okay, that means that this method works in spite of the major red flags, okay? And I know that while Democrats are, this goes back to the argument always, are the Democratic politicians cynical and refuse to reckon with left populism because they are fearful of their corporate benefactors? Or are they stupid and they don't realize that this actually works and Ezra Klein is wrong? Okay? We will find out if the Democrats are actually broadly cynical and sinister, or they're just stupid and were stupid all along. I think Platner's a psyop to convince us Maine is real. Perhaps. But ultimately, David Sirota is echoing the same sentiment that I have, which is a random never before on the scene dude being up nearly 2-1 against the current governor is a reflection of something way bigger than just the dude himself. It seems to reflect Dem voters being so disgusted with their party's current leaders that they want something new. It's a loathing of Dem leaders by Dem voters that's also been seen in the national polls, and that hasn't existed in our lifetimes. Please listen to me when I say this, okay? Listen to me when I say this. I know the cynical approach here is, oh, Democrats are all Nazis, and finally they're like, oh, finally we have our own Nazi, right? You look at this and you see Democrats being like, I don't give a shit about the Nazi tattoo, which is crazy, okay? It's crazy from my perspective. I totally get why you're also worried about this as well, okay? But I think that this implies, as I tweeted a couple days ago when everyone was yelling at me, that this means that people are pissed off with the establishment. The liberals are pissed off with the establishment. Seeing a lot of libs defend Platner over the establishment pick Janet Mills because he has a leftist platform, and it seems like they're tired of the status quo electability argument from the Dems. Now imagine if you had a candidate who didn't have a Blackwater CV and a totem cough, okay? Because liberals have always turned a blind eye to the racism or white supremacy or any number of different issues when it was the establishment candidate, when it was the establishment hand-selected candidate. They hyper-focused on Bernie Sanders being bad for black people while simultaneously shoot away anyone that said Hillary Clinton literally wrote in her memoir that she had black slaves in the Arkansas governor's mansion. Okay? They didn't give a shit. They cynically weaponized it against their left flank, and people ate that shit up. A lot of people read into that electability argument. They believed the electability argument. Yes, Hillary Clinton famously wrote that the Arkansas governor's mansion was the fields outside of the Arkansas governor's mansion were actually maintained by prisoners, black prisoners from the state penitentiary in Arkansas that were doing slave labor. Okay. Hillary Clinton also had her own super predators moment as well. Yeah. The Clintons had slaves. And she wrote about how dope it was. But people didn't give a shit, right? Because people, liberals by and large, were like, I don't give a f. I don't give a f. I don't care. La, la, la. I can't hear you. Now they're doing that for a left candidate, ostensibly, seemingly. Now, will he actually turn out to be a left politician if he wins? I don't know, right? I can't tell you sincerely that I can comprehend the mind of Graham Platner. I don't know. And it doesn't seem likely. I don't think it's more of a John Fetterman situation. It's more a Tulsi Gabbard situation. I think that's a better analog here, right? Having said that, what I'm looking at is the tea leaves. As a Mainer, an important reminder for people in general, Maine as a state has literally been more progressive than New York City for 25 years. We had legal weed before them. First state to vote, gay marriage via popular vote, gender affirming care is in our state constitution. Our Medicaid program includes dental, and we have state mandated PTO. Our only GOP governor in 25 years took office with a 36% plurality, which is why we instituted ranked choice voting. Woke chuds rise up, dude. It's awesome. Dude, this is the momentum, dude. This is the movement. Everybody loves a guy with a racist ass background who's like, I just, I want everyone to have health care. Okay. I'm woke now. I used to be not woke. Anyway, you can't airlift in a Cuomo or cajole folks into supporting a 78-year-old Janet Mills who basically got drafted into running anymore. The goodwill has been burnt. Please trust me when I say this. As someone who has spent a good deal of time covering races exactly like this, okay, I have never seen liberals react this way to the left flank of the party, react this positively to the left flank of the party as opposed to the establishment pick. Not in my lifetime have I ever seen this, okay? I am telling you right now, this is not an endorsement of Graham Platner. This is not a speculation about how he is going to legislate if he ends up winning. This is something broader. Okay. That's sus, to be honest. We shall see. So that's the first assessment. The second assessment will be on whether or not the liberal liberal electorate actually likes what they perceive as an electability argument for left populism, or if they simply like the woke chud. Okay? Because there are candidates that have gotten early endorsements from Bernie Sanders in other Senate races. And they too are running against incredibly weak establishment-picked candidates. I'm, of course, talking about someone who I've had on the broadcast quite a bit. His name is Dr. Abdul El Sayed, also running on anti-Zionism and Medicare for all. And the fact that he's doing fairly well in the polls so far, I think, or it has at least made a prominent name for himself in this race. Well, only time will show if liberals also respond to him with, immense positivity in the way that they have with Graham Platner. Okay? What is this? Matthew Cassell from Jewish Insider. A recent poll, screenshots of which were shared with me, includes the questions inaccurately describing Graham Platner's Nazi tattoos as an anti-Israel tattoo and asking if such a tattoo is disqualifying for a candidate seeking office. A spokesperson for Platner told me the survey is not from his campaign, which is planning to discuss new polling in a Zoom call on Sunday. That is not an anti-Israel tattoo, man. That is not an anti-Israel tattoo at all. If anything, it should be read as a pro-Israel tattoo. Let's be for real, okay? Perhaps the most pro-Israel tattoo you can get. Oh. Why not have Platner on the broadcast, have a long-form conversation about this? I mean, I would. I'd be down. I fear that I might have shit on him a little too hard for the campaign's liking, but I said I'd be down to do it. I mean, they reached out to me far before all of this, and I was super, super on board. Like, his campaign reached out to me around the same time that they reached out to Majority Report. Yeah, I got some oomphs working for him. If you do it, half a chat is literally going to combust. Yeah. When have I ever stopped myself from doing something just because chat is going to get mad at me? Come on, dude. Half of my long-standing haters come from that. Pivotal moments such as this. Pivotal moments such as this one, where chatters lose their minds over something, a perceived slight that they think is the most unjustifiable thing anyone's ever done. Okay? Irredeemable, they say. That's the number one haters to lovers pipeline that I have. His campaign wouldn't want that. Your chat's too toxic, brother. Are you kidding me? Do you know the amount of prominent mainline Dems that would love to be in front of this audience? They don't give a that. You guys are crazy. Okay, you're so wrong about that. I think at most they wouldn't want to do it because they think I might be too contentious. I hate that people constantly bring up the if he was an IDF vet, people would righteously attack him or whatever. No, this is not a good argument at all. If someone was like if someone had sufficiently demonstrated their anti-Zionism, as plenty of IDF veterans that I've literally had on this broadcast or prominently featured on this broadcast have, I would expect people to be normal. That's a big if, though. Are you seriously refusing to take accountability for the role of your stream played in sinking the Zoran campaign? I know. Remember when he lost the primary?